Simone and Chuck walk their way together into the bedroom the kids have been using. Both Jamie and SJ look at them, initially pleased to see their parents, but the Watau seems to quickly understand that the context of their arrival isn't going to be a very pleasant one. SJ's backplates slowly move in somber anticipation for the bad news, hardly making much of a greeting clacking. Jamie, on the other hand, is all too happy to point up at the screen of the show he's watching. "Vroom!" he screeches, in an attempt to recreate the sound of one of the animated, flying racing vehicles on the screen. Chuck giggles endearingly at the boy's excitement. "You're watching that Star Racer show again?" she asks, as she sits down on the floor next to him and pats the space between his wings. Simone smiles and sets herself down on the side of the bed. Looking at Jamie and then to SJ, she's still not 100% sure of what to say. She fantasized 1,000 times over having a final talk with her own father before he left and never came back. She wants this talk with her kids to really mean something, to leave behind guidance and assurance or some deep shit like that. Something they can both hold on to and remember for the rest of their lives, in case she and Chuck fail to come back to them. But this boon of having the chance to say a potential farewell starts to twist into a bit of a curse. The more the redhead thinks of words to say, the less she can coherently retain. Not wanting to expound a scramble of words, she sighs and just starts. "So, we have some bad news, but also some good. Your mother and I need to leave again, and unfortunately we can't take you kiddos where we're going," she says. Feeling her heart shatter at SJ's somberness, fall into a sadder defeat. They hiss and curl away from their drawing pad to tightly roll into a tight spiral. Before Simone can even lighten the mood with the good news, her eyes become watery. "I'm sorry, kiddo. It's not fair that we have to keep leaving. We don't want to either, but we need to," she explains, as she places a hand on the Watau's back, causing their plates to rattle. Hearing it, Jamie's plumes twitch before he looks over curiously. Although he hasn't fully caught on, he seems to pick up on his sibling's distress. Standing up, he quickly waddles over to the side of the bed and flops his arms down on the surface while flapping his wings. "SJ?" he asks. One play?" He then points to the screen, referencing the library of vid games at their disposal. Picking their head up, Esther just shakes their head and gazes over at Chuck. "Stay longer?" they request. The princess wanders over to the other side of the bed, resisting the grain developing in her eyes. "We have to leave at the end of the day," she apologizes. "But until then we'll spend the rest of our time here with you two." SJ nods slowly, though still clearly upset. "Hey kiddo, it's not all bad. Like I said, there's some good news too," Simone reminds, as she offers a hugging gesture. The Watau takes her up on the offer, and uncoils to skitter up in their mum's warm embrace. "Good news is, for a very long time, this should hopefully be the last time we need to leave like this. After we get back, we're going to take a long break from the rest of the universe. It'll just be us doing normal family things," she promises. "That's right. We're even considering buying a home planet-sized somewhere nice," Chuck adds, while she scoots up closer. "I want that," SJ hisses. Simone nods and reaches an arm down for Jamie to grab onto. Once he does, she pulls him up to join in the family bundle. "We'll make it happen," she vows, now snuggling everyone with her big strong Terran arms. "We'll all go on camping trips together, sit on a couch and watch movies, keep you both on track in your education, embarrass you in front of your friends from time to time, and just live in a place we'll call home for hopefully a while. And when you guys get older, it'll be our turn to feel sad about seeing you leave, when you're ready and need to." The redhead looks over both SJ and Jamie, imagining the adventure her life is going to be, even without looming galactic-scale dangers. The idea of waking up every morning with her loving wife, always there, is marvellous enough, but adding catching her kids sneaking in extra vid game time in the middle of the night, helping them through every mistake and stumble they make, witnessing them grow and define themselves in this universe, and by the time she departs, hopefully sees them off in a universe that will be flourishing for them to explore and live in. That's what she's doing this for. The lives of the rest of the stars that depend on them succeeding weighs on her without a doubt. But securing a future for the little faces in her arms, and the others in her life she greatly values, motivates her the most by a long shot. Jroom peeks her head up from the side of the bed and makes a nearly silent "arf" sound, her tail wagging excitedly. "Yes, you can be on the bed. Come, up," Chuck permits, in an amused chuckle. Without hesitation, the oversized puppy easily steps up and plops down at the end of the bed, deeply enjoying the cushioning and the petting of Jamie's tail down her back. Eyes flicking with red light, Chuck glances to her wife. "No matter what it takes, we'll get there," she assures in resolution. When the time finally comes far too soon, Simone gives everyone another big hug. Although there's no real chance that she would have done it, her mind presents the idea of just running away and hiding somewhere away from the universe. There's nowhere that she'd rather be than right here, but the call to do what's right rings out in her heart and mind. She wonders if her father felt this way, knowing he was going to meet with Ember. Maybe he didn't know what she'd do exactly, but there's no doubt that he knew it was something he had to face for his daughter's sake. He fell, but somehow still gives Simone the strength to march on to her own ultimate challenge. "You all are my entire universe," she says fondly, before taking stock of the farewell she needs to tackle head on. "I can't wait to see what you draw when we get back, SJ," she says, as she scratches their plates. SJ sadly nods. "I draw you and Mom," they promise. Simone smiles. "Heck yeah, it's going to be awesome," she says, before running her hand through Jamie's head fur. "Be good for Auntie Donna and Uncle Jackie, okay? Even if they don't give you pizza for breakfast," she chuckles to the Manarian toddler. Jamie pouts, his plumes drooping downward. "Gone long?" he asks. "Hope not, kiddo, but we're just going to have to see," the redhead replies, before planting a warm kiss on the boy's forehead. "We'll all see each other soon, though. That's a promise." As Simone addresses the Manarian, Chuck picks up SJ for a farewell embrace. "I know it's scary and unfair, but I swear we'll tell you everything when you're older. Take care of yourself and your brother while we're away. And be sure to have lots of fun with your new friends, sweetheart," she says to the Wataf. Ignoring that Terran-based term of endearment seems to imply something regarding how another's heart organ tastes like. "Okay, Mom," SJ agrees, hugging back as much as their little arms can manage. Chuck squeezes her child, who's more durable than her, before setting them down upon the bed. She never really expected to become a parent, especially to two Deathworld children, one being venomous while the other her brain is literally coded to be fearful of. Yet her loving and stoic mask holds back a raging ocean of guilt for leaving them once again. She knows it's for the best, but that doesn't make it any easier. She and Simone stand, but before they leave the room and housing unit, Chuck gives Jamie a full-on hug as well. Fear of the child annoyingly rings through her being while she does so, but she wants to depart from him knowing that she loves him very much. Because as much as she hopes for a fairy tale happily ever after, there's a very real chance it'll not end that way. Jamie's plumes poof out in surprise. Chuck has hugged him a few times before, but something about this time feels different to him. Like there was no weird invisible barrier between them this time. A smile breaks from his face, and he happily flaps his wings once, as Chuck gives him a playful squeeze as well before pulling back. "Keep them both safe, Jroom," Chuck lightly orders the dog, before she and her Terran leave the room. While Simone and Chuck depart, Vin and Seven await for them, just outside the housing unit. "Sup, Doc?" Simone greets. "Thinking about joining up in the Liberation Forces?" she jokes, as she curiously points at the bag of luggage that Noxie has at his side. "I'm afraid the art of combat is still not my field of expertise," he chuckles. "No, I am here to see you off, and to make myself comfortable in one of the nearby housing units. Donna and Jackie have agreed my assistance in babysitting would be a good idea. Simone raises an eye tuft before looking at the bot, the usual babysitter. I have made the decision that I will be accompanying you, or more specifically, Captain in Chuknuk, 7 informs. Both of the Terran's eye tufts fall in a confused furrow. Wait, what? I would think you'd want to avoid a war zone, and Chuknuk's coming? How? She questions. The Union have arrived with more defending Ing ships than originally planned. The original Terran Union ambassador was reportedly slain in the chaos in the CHS. Not confirmed murder, but several eyewitness reports have indicated such. So Bree is now unquestionably the acting Ing ambassador, and with Vermis's support more ships were spared to defend this location. So the captain has determined that he and the Quipchap would be of more use elsewhere. I'll let him explain, but since he's going, I've decided to remain on the Quipchap as well, to be of as much help as I possibly can be, 7 explains. Okay, Simone mutters, as she catches herself up and all that. Definitely going to talk to him about that. The Grat and Troy aided in removing all the children's things and placing them in Vin's unit, including a space ace for just SJ, the bot additionally assures, to preemptively answer that line of questioning. Oh, good. SJ was really enjoying that, Chuck says, unsure how to feel about all the previous information. Simone takes a step forward to 7 with a serious expression. Taking life in the defense of life is one thing, 7, but we are willingly going to battle, where death doesn't just happen to people who deserve it. Is that something you can make peace with? She asks. The bot's 3 cranial lights flicker in a circular pattern. Yes. When I took life protecting the captain and SJ in that ambush, my perspective has evolved since. I'm still not going to seek out taking life, or even to personally fight in a physical sense, but this is too important and to simply stand by and watch. Even if I found myself in that position, or worse again, it will still be taking life in the defense of life, a galaxy's worth. Sometimes wielding a shield is enough, but there will be times that even then the pacifist must draw a sword, though I hope to bury it once this is all over, they reply. Simone stares at the bot in contemplation for a few seconds before nodding. That's your decision to make, 7. I respect it, she says. Just be careful. Vin was hoping that you would dissuade me, but he has said the same, 7 replies, before looking down at their legal guardian. Guilty, but I agree that I cannot force you to do anything. It will be against all I've been trying to teach you, but still, be sure you come back alive, 7, Vin says, as he puts a mitten on the side of the bot's chassis. My life was the first thing I've ever valued while alive. I've been very fortunate to have found so many other lives to value equally, if not more so. That said, I do intend on surviving in the coming storms. I love life and everything it is. I wish to continue experiencing it for as long as possible, 7 assures, before putting one of their 4 mechanical arms on Finn's back. I could not have ever asked for a better guardian, Finn. Thank you again, regardless of what comes. I hope I've made you proud. More than you or any form of life can perceive, 7, Finn replies, as his ear flaps flick behind him. Well, we really have to go. I'll see you soon then, 7. Vin, Simone says, before fully addressing her brain dog. I want you to know that I've never felt like you owed me anything, but rest assured, in every aspect, you are paying me back in full. Though I hope to continue our sessions after we come back for as long as I need it, or for as long as you can stand me, she earnestly says with a chuckle. Vin's wet nose trembles slightly, revealing his people's equivalent of crying. You'll be nothing but a boon to the stars and the people who inhabit them. Regardless of who remembers you or how many generations pass, you made an insurmountable difference in making their lives better. You're an amazing person, and you have come so far. Let us indeed continue forward into the next trials to tackle. But hopefully, it'll be about the stress of raising angsty teenagers and not entwined galactic conspiracies, he says, as he squats in his people's gesture of farewell, and then reaches up to shake her hand. keep showing those bastards exactly who Simone Thatch is. Vermis is proven to be a practical miracle, it seems, Thorne says, as his glowing psi and eye sift through acquired military reports across the stars. Hopefully it's enough to get the support we're going to need to pull all this off. Devin nods, not looking up from his hard-light screen. The Malkite really did a number on a lot of worlds. Even if Vermis doubles their progress, it's going to be some time before most places are fully secure again, he replies. Let's hope the FSA can explain the Manarian Empire threat well enough for Central to keep hitting the ground running until their invasion is properly thwarted. I believe they'll be motivated enough, Thorne says, before stepping out and into the hallway, having to take care of one last thing before official takeoff. He strides up to the door of his most recent hires and raises one of his mechanical hands to knock. However, he pauses, hearing what can only be described as dampened, vicious use of a Jurassic Park Velociraptor soundboard from the other side. Debating for a moment, Thorne rolls his eyes and commits to the knocks. Yet the other side continues on, causing him to once again rethink this whole thing, but he can't leave with a satisfied conscience. So he knocks again. 1 minute! An aggressive yet euphoric reptilian voice screeches out. Winding his eyes, Thorne looks towards the ceiling as he steps back to lean against the opposing wall and crosses his arms to wait. Several minutes later, the room finally silences and the door partially opens. Need something? Sonda pleasantly inquires as she pokes her head out. Thorne averts his gaze from the state that the Varuk is currently in, though he's genuinely impressed by how chipper she appears to be despite it. What a damn trooper. I just wanted to clear something with you and Zekros. We're going to be taking off soon, and most likely going to end up in a war zone or two. Since that's probably not what either of you had signed up for, I wanted to give y'all an out before takeoff. His averted gaze accidentally catches the other occupant in the room. Zekros was sprawled on the floor with a ruffled mane of blue feathers, and heaving in exhaustion. One of his hands was slowly dragging a water container towards himself, seemingly almost desperate to rehydrate. We getting paid extra? Sonda inquires. Thorne looks back to the short woman, trying to do the math in his head of how a major Zartuk can be brought to that state. But as his mind got more speculatively graphic, he shook the thoughts out of his mind. That can be done. Gonna have to wait until it's over to receive the pay, of course, he informs. Good. Then we'll stay, Sonda assures. Hesitant, the Terran cyborg looks to the Zartuk. You on board, brother? He asks directly. A hissing release from Zekros' mouth, trying to form words. However, unable to, the dino-like individual raises a grasper and mimics the Terran's thumbs up, as well as he can, and nods his snout. If humming it with this lass is worth it, I can't argue with you, I suppose. Hope you two have a safe word or something, because... damn, Thorne mumbles, amused, before stepping to the side. Alright, that's all I need to know, as you were. It's shrapnel, Sonda cheerily confirms before closing the door. Chuckling, Thorne departs with his whole knowledge of Varuk durability and endurance completely shaken. Though that would explain a few things, such as never really seen a Varuk tire from pursuit, or how they can consume so much meat in one sitting. His eyes widen again as he involuntarily eyes the closed door, but he shook his head again, figuring it's better that he doesn't dwell on it for a moment longer. Simone steps in between the Blunder's bust and quip-chap with Chuck. Are you going to tell Chuknuk to stay here? The Terran asks the Kali. Chuck shakes her head. No. In fact, I'm glad he's coming. He didn't rise to the rank of Admiral because of any form of succession rules. He may be a goof in the Warwick games, but he truly is a very capable director of battle. His eye on things in general will be invaluable, as much as I wish he was free from the danger, she replies. Yeah, I guess you're right. With the stakes, we're going to need to give it everything we have, the redhead says, before reaching over and pulling Chuck closer, so that they become face to face. "What's right?" Chat begins to say, before Simone gently interrupts her with tender shushes. "Our last bit of quiet together, Bo Peep," the Terran whispers, while planting her forehead to the Callies. "Let's enjoy it." Understanding immediately, Chuck closes her now beaming eyes and hugs her curves against Simone's. Only a few minutes pass by before they are sent a notification to load up. But in those minutes, the two sink into a short eternity, expelling everything but each other. They will fight like hell to fulfill their promises and are committed to returning and living their lives the way they dream to. But nothing is ever certain, and they know deep down that they are just as likely to fail as they are to succeed. Both hardly comprehend that they both still stand here after all the insanity and odds they've triumphed over. Yet with the powers at play, all of this could be for nothing. Their first step and every step after could result in absolute catastrophe. Too much is out of their hands, and capability, and other people they haven't even met or ever will meet will have to step up in order for this all to work out in the stars' favour. So they bathe in each other's presence. Their touch, feel and smell in the simplest of ways. It's these small things they crave and hope to return to. But for now, they have to make this a silent embrace, a goodbye in case one doesn't make it. Their hearts scream that they both will, but a corner of their minds know that if one won't, they will have this additional moment to reflect upon. This, perhaps, final goodbye, if fate were to be so cruel. Pulling away, Simone smiles and holds the size of Chuck's face. "I love you, Chuckalata Thatch," she says softly. "And I love you too, Simone Thatch," Chuck replies just as tenderly. "Let's go save the universe, raise kids together and get freaky when we're alone," Simone smirks. "Let's," the princess wholeheartedly agrees, before hurrying towards the bus blunder with her wife at her side, as another notification of imminent takeoff comes from Thorn.